Hello and welcome. If you play games, then you were probably looking forward to the release of at least a half a dozen titles arriving in 2012. Now, in all likelihood, one of the games on your radar coming into this year was not the action RPG title Path of Exile from Grinding Gear Games. Well, I would suggest to you that it's time to move this game up your list. And today I'm going to be taking a look at the game and talking a little bit about my experience in last weekend's stress test. So currently there are 5 classes in the game, with a 6th class yet to be added. And except for the name, your character will come pre-made. Now the classes are Witch, the intelligence-based class that utilizes magic, primarily ranged; Ranger, the dexterity-based class that can be played either like a ranged marksman or like the standard melee rogue; Marauder, a strength-based warrior-type character; the Templar, the strength-intelligence combo that does well with both Marauder and Witch skills; and finally the strength and dexterity duelist who mixes the Marauder and Ranger skills. Now the dexterity and intelligence class is not yet in the game, and just so you know, you're not in any way confined to these roles and can multi-class in any way you choose, which I'll be talking about more in a minute. Now when I got into the game, I was immediately struck by how quickly and effectively it sets the mood. Right off the bat, the first guy I talk to gets eaten by a dead guy who is just laying next to him, and then that guy decides to turn on me also. Now, I also noticed the detail in graphics, which is excellent. Now, personally, I do like some games with brighter color schemes. Now, when a game remains all gray and earth tones, it just kind of gets all a bit mundane for me after a while of playing. But that said, this game sets a very dark mood, and so far there hasn't been any place where like beautiful trees and rainbows would be appropriate. So these graphics are of a very high quality in terms of detail, mood, and realism, and I only became more impressed the more I played. For the first 5 minutes or so, all you do is swing your weapon and kill things, and pick up stuff off the ground, and also from in chests or barrels or such. Hopefully you're not the type of person that says, I played for 5 minutes and lost interest. And for me, the moment I got to choose my first quest reward, which is a gem that'll give me a new power, I started to really enjoy the game. Your choices have some diversity. Like for your first option, you might get to choose from a damaging melee attack that freezes your foes, a fireball that shoots out from the sky, or some sparks that just move around until they hit something. So right off the bat, you start getting cool abilities, and the choice of which to take is yours. Now you can also find these gems out and about in the world. The gems are slotted into your equipment, and they can be removed from the equipment as well, so you don't have to worry about losing them as you gain better equipment. The gems are color-coded to represent the 3 stats in the game. Now this is important because the gems will level as they are used, and if you are a Marauder utilizing a green dexterity gem, you might find that you don't have enough dexterity to be able to level it later on. Now the equipment itself plays a huge part in this game. The equipment you find will be of different quality, and a higher quality piece of equipment will give you higher stats, plus some unique effects ranging from generating health to adding burning damage to your melee attacks. And you can upgrade any piece of equipment in numerous ways, including by randomly changing its stats if it has some stats you can't use, or upgrading them to like higher powered stats, or even changing sockets' colors so that you can put the gems that you want into that piece of equipment. So already, just learning about the gems and the equipment, I was really sucked into the character building aspect of this game. And then I started to explore the talent tree. Now this is the talent tree for Path of Exile, which is called the passive skill tree. Like other games, you get 1 point to spend per level. And as you can see, the words talent tree really don't apply here. Talent galaxy, maybe? Now the way this works is that you're given a starting point on the tree based on the class you choose. From there, you can branch out in any way you want in order to enhance whatever style you'd like to play, or whatever specific spell or weapon type you want to specialize in. Now, as for multi-classing, you will have enough points eventually to get any skill you want, so there really is no limit to how you can customize your skills. In fact, it's not even going to feel like you're multi-classing, since there's no defined points that need to be spent in any given class or any such thing. You just take the points you want and go. So ultimately, the class you start with pretty much just gives you a starting point, and what your character ends up as may not reflect a particular class at all, but rather your vision of what you wanted your character to be. The only limitations you'll be facing going away from your class's specialties are that there will be a few types of equipment that are unavailable to your class, and also you do start with different stats in each class, so if you're a ranger who also wants to cast spells, you'll probably need to make sure to take some intelligence boosting skills as you level. Like most games, Path of Exile utilizes a health and mana system. Health and mana do not regenerate automatically, but the potions that you carry do regenerate as long as you kill things. The flasks can also be upgraded, much like the rest of your equipment. You move by pointing and clicking with the mouse, although you can also just hold down the left mouse button and move your mouse around in order to move your character smoothly. Now, your left and right mouse buttons are also slotted with abilities, along with Q, W, E, R, and T. Now, the left mouse button was a little tricky for me, since I'd often not quite click on a monster I was trying to shoot from range, and suddenly my character would go running towards him, thinking I'd intended to move right into the middle of that huge group of enemies. Otherwise, I did find the movement and controls to be really easy, at least after I stopped trying to use W to move forward. Now, there is no currency in the game. Instead, you can trade things to a merchant for items that will help you upgrade your armor and weapons and such. You can also trade equipment with other players, although this function was not implemented yet in this beta. Now, I didn't play a class that I found in any way difficult or lacking. The only thing I noticed is that melee classes have a little harder time surviving in the first few levels because they're going to take more of a beating. Otherwise, the 3 characters that I played were all really, really fun, and I honestly couldn't decide which of the 3 I preferred. In fact, I have no idea what I'm going to play next time I get the opportunity to jump into this game, because I really liked them all. Now, the different areas in Path of Exile are amazing. The open world all looks fantastic, and the subtle touches are nice too, like how in the first few areas you constantly hear the sound of the ocean, but as you move on to areas further inland, it begins to fade away. Now, dungeons look fantastic. I suspect some people might complain that these are too dark and difficult to navigate, but I actually thought this kind of lent itself to the feel of the experience, in that I kind of felt like I really was in a really dark dungeon, just kind of stumbling my way through, and I don't know, to me that was a little bit cool. Oh, and these dungeons, yeah, they're randomly generated. Every time you re-enter, all of the passages will have changed, and all the doors and quest objectives will be in new locations. I should also mention that all of the areas in this game are instanced, other than, like, the towns. Everything else is instanced, so you'll only be seeing your party in any given area. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't also mention how much I liked the spell animations. Whether it was my arrows protruding from out of my enemies, frozen foes shattering, fire from the sky, or sparks, I had a blast trying every new gem that I could get my hands on. Now, something else that had me really impressed with this game was the developers themselves. They were online all day Saturday, talking to us, answering development questions, helping us if we had questions about the mechanics of the game, and just being overly friendly in general. They were very good about making the players feel that we were kind of becoming part of something rather than just playing somebody's game. Now, as for the release date, we don't have it yet. The fact that they are running stress tests would imply that the beta is ending very soon, but the fact that they still need to install the 6th class, the voiceovers, and evidently quite a bit of story, just to name a few things, would imply that this game still has quite a lot to do before it's ready, so your guess is as good as mine. What I can say is that the game is currently very playable. Everything ran really smoothly for me, and there were not an abnormal amount of lag spikes or server crashes for what appeared to be an early stress test. Now, the game will be free to play, and the developers insist that the item shop will be primarily cosmetic with no way to purchase power. Yeah, I know. We've all heard that a million times before, but I gotta tell you, with these guys, I'm really hopeful that they'll keep their word, and I'm thinking that there are a lot of things that they could sell that could keep them profitable without this game becoming pay to win. Extra bag space, the cross-character storage that was available to everyone this weekend, extra character slots, those are just a few things that come to mind. Now, I had a ton of fun this weekend and wish I could have played more. There were a bunch of people asking if they could actually pay money to gain access to all of the beta tests. And as much as I would find this notion of paying to play the beta of a free-to-play game completely stupid in any normal game, I actually found myself thinking I would probably pony up a little cash myself, because honestly, I don't want to have to wait for months to play this game again. Now, Grinding Gear Games has responded to this request by announcing that they will be offering the pre-purchase of microtransactions that will come with a beta key, although they haven't released any of the details at this time. Now, if you think this first look sounded like an abnormally glowing review coming from me, well, yeah, I suppose it really was. I am fully aware that I haven't played very much of the game yet, and I'm aware that Grinding Gear Games could find plenty of ways of jacking this up between now and launch, but at the moment, I really have nothing bad to say about this game, and I can't give it a high enough recommendation. I think Grinding Gear Games has a runaway hit on their hands here, and I think they'll be setting the standard for both free-to-play games and independent studios for a long, long time. And that's it for my first look at Path of Exile. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.